This person tagged me in a video and said, Tom Powell Jr., explain. First, let me show you the video. So, that was video taken of Lake Michigan 2 or 3 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. I know it was in the recent past when we had one of our extraordinarily cold streaks. And the explanation is that Lake Michigan is a fickle bitch. And here in the Chicagoland area, it gets, or can get, really fucking cold. And in the wintertime, Lake Michigan kind of varies between really cold ice water to slushy it's an icy, slushy mess to, holy fuck, we can walk across this thing from iceberg to iceberg to iceberg. If it gets cold enough in the Chicagoland area, that is what you will get on Lake Michigan. You will get these massive chunks of ice that are just deep as fuck, just floating and knocking into each other left and right. Along the shore there, and it's just a fact of life in the Chicagoland area. There have been some really cold winters that have produced some really amazing scenes in Chicago. Scenes like this. This is the back fire escape stairwell of a building in Chicago during a very cold snap in the city of Chicago. Or scenes like this, with the river practically frozen over, cracking and creaking every inch of the way as it winds through the city. Or this, another shot of a nearly frozen Chicago river. When I say Chicago winters hit differently, I'm not exaggerating. And even though the term the Windy City did not actually come from Chicago's wind, but rather from the hot air that Chicago politicians blew, and that's a true story. That's why the city of Chicago is referred to as the Windy City. It's got nothing to do with wind and everything to do with political speech. Even though that's the reason why it was called the Windy City, the wind will still cut you in half. The wind and the cold will seep into your bones in a way that I've never had happen anywhere else in the country. Must have a delivery. 'Tis the season. Sorry for that brief interruption, but those were some of our friends from in town dropping off homemade cookies and singing Christmas carols at our door. They are the parents of one of our son's best friends, and they have become our new friends over the last couple of years, and couldn't ask for a better group of friends than these people. And so I know they watch my TikToks as well. Thank you for the cookies. Thank you for the carols. That was a pleasant surprise. Getting back to Chicagoland winters, the cold and the wind get into your bones in a manner in which I've never experienced anywhere else in the country. And I'm not saying that Chicago gets colder than anywhere else in the country, because obviously that's not the case. There's just something that happens in this part of the world, in this area, in northeast Illinois, where it just gets inside of you, and it takes forever to get it out of you. You come home and you stand over the heat register. You take a scalding hot shower, as scalding hot as you can get. You do everything. You crank the heat up. You do everything you possibly can, and it still takes a good little bit of time before you can get that cold out of your core. It burrows its way into your being. So that's the explanation. Somebody said, explain. That's the explanation. It just gets cold in a manner here that I cannot fucking explain.